All right, y'all. So
Hello.
we got a handful. We got a handful we're waiting on, but it's time to get started. These things go by quick. So I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm going to let Zach get us rolling with our plyometrics for Runners Workshop. If you guys have questions along the way, send it in the chat box or kind of give me a hand wave and we'll unmute you. You feel free to ask questions at any point. You don't have to wait till the end. All right, cool. Let's give it away. Go ahead,
Well,
Zach.
let's jump into it. Thanks, Tina. This will be awesome if it is, a smaller class today, because I'll be able to spend a little bit more time, watching each of you guys. So you'll get a little more personalized instruction, but I'm sure we'll have a couple other people, trickle in as we're going through. So similar to last week, were you guys here last week? No? Okay. So last week we combined a lot of the movements and the patterns that we've been working on over the course of the last few sessions. So we're going to do the same thing today. We're going to start with our usual warm-up or a spin-off of it. And then we're going to go through a couple of linear-based movements, which are kind of the bread and butter of our plyometrics for runners. Then we're going to move into some lateral side-to-side movements, and then progress again into the most complex of the three variations, which are multi-directional, and combine some linear, lateral, and rotational movements as well. So it's a nice little fun progression that incorporates a lot of what we've kind of built up to this point. Like Tina said, if you have questions as we're going through, feel free to chime in. Other than that, we'll jump into things here so we don't waste any time. We'll get going with the warm up. So we're going to start off with the two staples, which are the forward and lateral leg swings. So we're going to go with 15 repetitions on each side. So for the forward leg swings, you're just swinging back and forth. If you have something that you can hold on to, a wall, a chair, whatever it might be, feel free. Hope everybody's enjoying the day so far today. I know it's a little bit gloomy out, but hopefully some plyos will brighten the day up a bit. A little bit of movement never hurts. Go ahead and switch sides when you're ready. Good. As you finish up the forward leg swings, we're going to move into lateral, so side-to-side leg swings across your body. We're opening up that inside of the groin area, getting the outside of the hip muscles. Really keep things nice and stable as we're doing these plyometric movements, especially on one leg. You can see I need to work on my balance a little bit. And again, we're going 15 swings on each side here. As you finish those up, we can switch sides. I know I have to stand a little bit further away from the camera with this setup. So if anyone needs me to demo anything again, feel free to, you can raise your hand through Zoom and I'll be happy to re-demo things here. So next, we're going to get the heart rate going a little bit, get some of the muscles of the legs and patterns that mimic running going here. So we're just going to work on some high knees, very simple, kind of staple in a lot of dynamic warm-ups. So we're going to go about 30 seconds here, getting the knees up nice and high. You can go as fast or as slow as you're comfortable with. And again, we'll just do about 30 seconds. I'm watching the clock. Five seconds. And relax. So high knees are always a nice addition to the warm-up because they are plyometric movements themselves, and they get the heart rate going a little bit. So we're really preparing our body in multiple ways. Next, we're going to go into some basic glute bridges, which we've done before. So you're going to go down onto the floor, knees bent, feet about hip width apart, driving through your heels, raising your hips up towards the ceiling. We'll do 12 repetitions here. All right. Let everybody finish up there. And the next movement is going to be some lateral lunges, which we've also used before. We're just going to do 6 each side. So stepping out to the side, reaching the hips back, coming back up into the standing position. Again, 6 reps each side. This pattern will mimic some of the movements that you'll see today, especially when we get to the lateral and rotational work. You can switch when you're ready. Good. Shake it out a little bit as we move into the last portion of the movement prep here. This is something new. This is something that we've never done before. They're called 2-inch runs. And really the purpose of them is to kind of wake the system up, wake the nervous system up. It's a really fast movement, high velocity movement. So it will mimic a lot of these plyometrics that we're going to be doing. And again, it's really short and quick is the goal with this. So it's called a 2-inch run. I'll demo it for you. I'm just going to tilt my screen down a little bit. It really, the name kind of describes the movement. You're literally pretending that you're running 2 inches forward and you're getting as many steps in as possible in that 2-inch span. So we're going to go for about 15 seconds here. And we're going to do 2 rounds of it. So I'll demo it real quick. Basically, it's going to look like so. Really small steps. Get the arms working as quick as possible for about 15 seconds, and then you relax. We'll reset for a second or 2, and then do another round of that. So I'm gonna kind of watch here as you guys go for this. So go ahead. 2-inch runs. Yep. Good. 2 people got it. Mark's got it now. Good. 15 seconds and then relax. Give yourself about 5 seconds to shake out the legs and then go for a second round here. So I like using these, before plyometric workouts, but I also use them as part of my dynamic warm-up when I go out for a run. Not always, but sometimes. Again, it's a way to sort of wake the system up, get things firing pretty quickly, get the muscles working in a way that's similar to the stresses that will be applied when you're out on a run. So that's a nice little new one there. Next, we're going to go into sort of our plyometric prep now. So we revisit this every single time that we do these sessions to really hammer away these base positions. So the first one that we're going to work on is the double leg snap down. So you're going to start with your arms overhead all the way up on your toes, drive the arms down, slide the feet out wider than your shoulders, and land in that base position. So hinge at the hips, reach the butt back, slight bend in the knees, and really focus on sticking that landing. We'll do 3 or 4 reps of the double snap downs. Everyone's looking good so far. Good, Mark's nailing it. Caitlin's got it. Jenna's got it. I know Tina's got it. All right, so from there, we're gonna go through the next progression, which is a snap down to a split squat. So I'm gonna go side onto the camera, all the way up on my toes, snapping down into the split squat position. I want you to alternate sides here. And we're gonna do 2 or 3 on each side, just enough so that you're feeling prepared. Good. And then the last movement in the snap down progression is going to be snapping down onto a single leg. So just as a refresher, starting all the way up on the toes, hands overhead, driving down, landing on that one leg. Stick for 2 or 3 seconds on that side before you alternate. Again, it's really important with these to focus on that landing. Make sure you're getting a bend through the knee to absorb, a fair bit of this force on the landing. Good. Looks good, Jenna. Looks good, Caitlin. Looks good. Mark, try and bend your knee a little bit more on that landing. Better. Good. All right. As you finish up here, you can grab a sip of water. We're going to start to move into our actual plyometric progression here. So as I mentioned, we're going to start with some linear movements, which are front to back. Again, these are the bread and butter of running plyos, because running really is a primarily linear dominant movement, linear dominant activity. So you want to emphasize these in the program as much as possible and make sure that you really master these movements before you move on to the lateral movements and the rotational movements. We're going to sprinkle in some of the other ones afterwards just to mix things up and, make sure we're meeting everyone's, current level. So the first thing that we're going to work on is a variation on a foundational, just exercise, foundational resistance exercise. So we're going to do a single leg RDL into an exchange, which is the plyometric portion of this movement. So we're going to do 5 reps on each side. What it's going to look like, I'm going to show you from the front, and then I'll demo from the side as well. The single leg RDL, you're going to have a soft bend in your knee. You're hinging at the hips, kind of trying to get your trunk as parallel to the floor as possible. Then you're driving up into this single leg stance position, and then you're exchanging sides, sticking the landing, going into the RDL on the opposite side. So to give you a demo side on, we're going to go RDL, reach the hips back, slight bend in the knee, but it stays relatively straight. Single leg stance and exchange. All right. So 5 reps on each side here. Caitlin and Jenna. Good, Mark. When you do the exchange, you want to limit motion as much as possible. And what I mean by that is the only 2 areas that you're trying to move are your legs. You're literally just trying to exchange the 2 positions. So try and limit your trunk motion as much as possible. Again, it's not going to be perfect, but this is sort of the goal that you're going for. So you see my trunk really stays in the same position as I, forcefully drive one leg down and lift the other up. Good. Good catch there, Jenna. The balance is always tough. Nice, Mark. Caitlin's got it. All right, let's try one more rep here, and then we'll regroup and move on to the next exercise. We're about halfway through already, which is crazy. All right. So next, we're going to focus on some continuous pogo jumps, which really bias the Achilles and calf complex, which is super important for running. Your Achilles and your calf complex produce the highest forces with each step while you're running. It's somewhere between 7 and 9 times your body weight every time that you take a step on a run. That's a lot of force, and we want to make sure that we're really preparing that muscle to handle those stresses and have the capacity to repeatedly produce that force. So continuous pogo jumps, you're trying to keep your knees relatively straight for these, and all of the motion is actually coming from the foot and ankle. So you're going to start off nice and low, and with each jump you're going to try and get progressively higher for about 15 seconds. We're going to go for time on this one, okay? I'll watch the clock here. We're going to do 2 or 3 rounds of this. We'll see how it's going. All right, so when you're ready, you can start. I'll watch the clock. So, Caitlin, it's feet together. Trying to keep your knees straight. Yep, there we go. Good. And Caitlin, you can keep going for a couple seconds. All right, good. Everybody relax. Nice. That was solid for the first round. So like I mentioned, make sure you're keeping your knees as straight as possible, which will really bias that calf and Achilles complex. It forces you to not rely on your quads quite as much, and your glutes especially as well. So we'll go one more round of that for 15 seconds. Feet relatively together, knees straight, bouncing up and down. I got the time here. And relax. Good. Much better that go around. These you can easily progress to single leg as well. Single leg is exponentially more demanding on the body, and it can be a little bit tricky if you're not used to doing them often. So for these, I wouldn't incorporate them more than like once a week if they're new to you. If you've done them for a pretty long period of time, you can bump that up to twice a week, but once a week is a pretty conservative bet, and you'll probably be totally fine. I do them for time, so 15 to 20 seconds, only for like 3 to 5 reps, all right? The last one in the linear group, we're gonna do a vertical jump to a broad jump. So a broad jump requires a little bit of space and is basically a jump in the forward direction. So what you're gonna do is snap down into the base position, jump straight up, land, and then jump out in front of you. So I'm jumping out towards the camera on that broad jump, okay? So it's down, straight up, and then jumping out towards the camera. I know space is gonna be a little bit tricky for some people here, so just do the best that you can with it. Let's go just 3 reps of this one. Good, Jenna's got it. Caitlin's got it. Mark's got it. Hi, Ariel. If you can't jump, what should we do? So what I would say is focus on the landing right now. So we're working on plyometrics here, and it's going to include a lot of jumping and landing right now. But what you can really do is hammer away at the landing. So we'll go over some modifications for you here as best as possible. What I want you to try right now is just coming up onto your toes and kind of snapping down into that landing position and sticking that, okay? All right. We'll let Caitlin finish up that rep, good. So that was the vertical jump to a broad jump. You're gonna see the broad jump concept come back here in a little bit. We're gonna move into our lateral plyos now. So we're gonna go from a straight jump to a lateral jump. So we're jumping from both feet, landing on both feet, but in a side-to-side direction. And then from there, we're gonna go right into a lateral bound, which is moving from one leg. So if I'm on my left leg, and then landing on my right leg, landing on the opposite leg. So I'll show you what that looks like in practice. So snap down into base, jump, land on both feet, off to the side, and then I'm jumping off of my left foot, landing on my right. Then you can reset, okay? Snap down, jump to the side, bounding from my left to my right. Okay, we'll do 3 reps in each direction. Nice, Mark. Nice, Jenna. Saw the bound there, Caitlin. Let's see the jump on the next one. Nice. Good. Yeah, and Ariel, I see you kind of doing some lateral lunges. It looks like that's a good modification for you right now. Good. And again, just 3 reps here going in each direction, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. All right. Looks like everyone's finishing up. Next, we're going to do some lateral hurdle hops. So you're going to have to pretend that you have hurdles. I know none of us will actually have them at the moment, but again, pretend that you have about a 6-inch hurdle that you're trying to jump over, okay? So imagine that we have 3 of them lined up here. I'm gonna start on my left leg. So we're gonna jump towards the outside of our foot here, all right? We're jumping from the left leg and landing on the left leg. So it's gonna look like so, jump over the hurdle and land. If you have to put your other foot down for balance, just try and come off of it as quickly as possible. Jump and land. Go 2 to 3 repetitions, depending on your space, in the same direction. And then you can switch sides and head back on the opposite foot, like so. Good, Mark. Good, Caitlin. Actually, Caitlin, I want you to jump towards the outside of your body. So if you're on your right foot, you're jumping towards your right. Yeah, there you go. Jenna's got it. Nice. Ariel, this one you can do some lateral marching. So kind of like you're stepping over the hurdles. Good. All right. Let Jenna finish up this round here. Nice. Okay, good. So that, how are we doing on time? So I want to make sure we get a couple of multi-directional movements in here. So we're going to move on to that, that category. Like I said, that broad jump is going to come back. So now what we're going to do is a lateral jump, which we just saw in the lateral category. A lateral jump to a 90-degree broad jump, okay? So what that looks like is this. So jumping out to the side, landing on both feet. Now I'm jumping back to the right and twisting, rotating 90 degrees and landing. Then you can reset and go at it again, okay? So we'll do 3 in each direction. Good, Mark. Good, Jenna. Nice, Caitlin. Good rotation there. Nice. Everyone's got this one down. That's awesome. The rotation a lot of times will start throwing people off. So you guys all nailed that. That's great. All right, let's do one more and then we'll leave a little bit of time for questions here. I'm going to pick my favorite here. Let's do a 90-degree rotational hop. Okay, so we just did a little bit of hopping over the hurdles, the fake hurdles. So now we're going to incorporate that 90 degrees of rotation. We're starting on one leg and landing on the same leg here, okay? So I'm gonna start on my left. You're gonna jump or emphasize the vertical component of the hop. Rotate 90 degrees towards the outside of your body. So if I'm on my left leg, I'm rotating to my left and then land, okay? Tina's got it down if you guys need some more visual cueing or some more direction here. Nice, Jenna. Good recovery. Good, Caitlin. Mark, nice. Good landing there. And just 3 or so in each direction here on each foot. I'm sorry, not each direction, 3 or so on each foot here. Good, Jen, on that landing, try and get a little bit of a softer knee if you can. Good, that's better. Nice, okay. I think we might have time for one more quick one. So let's work on the staple from the last couple because I know these are challenging. We're gonna work on a rotational bound real quick. So A bound is moving from one leg and landing on the opposite. So I'm going to start on my right and land on my left. And we're rotating 90 degrees here. So from my right leg, I'm coming out, rotating onto my left so that I'm side onto the camera. And what that looks like a little bit faster is this. So a little hop from my right to my left, rotating 90 degrees. And we'll just do 3 or so reps each side here as well. Good. For this one, I want you to emphasize the horizontal component. So try and travel a little bit from the starting position out to the side, kind of like Tina's doing right now. Mark's got it nice. There you go, Jenna. Caitlin, let's see it. Nice. Nice landing there, Jenna. Good stability. Nice. All right. So we'll wrap it up on this one here. I want to leave a minute or two for any questions that you guys might have. Everyone did awesome today. Everyone, I can tell, people that are coming consistently are really starting to improve in terms of their landing, in terms of their just understanding of a lot of these movements, which is really awesome to see. So thank you guys for continuing to join me. Anyway, if anyone has any questions, I would love to answer them. All good today?
If nobody has a question, I have a question, maybe something we could do to finish. What are good stretches for runners? Maybe we could do 1 or 2 to finish up if no one has any questions.
Absolutely. So when it comes to more static stretching, after a run is definitely the best time to do it. I would not recommend doing static stretching beforehand. I would keep everything dynamic ahead of time, which is sort of what we kind of ran through today. But for regular static stretching after the fact, you want to hit the major muscle groups: hamstrings, quads, calf. After these plyometrics, I'm sure a lot of people are kind of experiencing a little bit of a calf tightness, so to speak, or that sensation of tightness. So one nice one that I like to work on is some basic kind of calf rocking. So you're on your kind of in a tall plank, and then you kind of stick your butt up towards the ceiling and rock your heel down towards the floor and hold for 5 or 10 seconds, and then alternate sides. And you should feel a nice stretch in the calf, sometimes right behind the knee or into the hamstring as well. And then from here, what you can actually do is just walk your hands up into a little bit of a hamstring stretch, wherever you're comfortable walking your hands up to. Then walk back out into more of the plank, and then rock back up into that hamstring stretch. Hold for another 5 or 10 count. Okay, so that hits the calf and hamstring area. Another nice one for more of the quad and hip flexor is coming down onto one knee. We'll try and go side on here for this. Coming down onto one knee, squeezing the glute on the leg that's down, keeping a nice squeeze in your abdominals, and then kind of rocking forward into a nice little hip flexor stretch, and then reaching over the leg that is up. So again, glute squeeze, ab squeeze, rock forward slightly, and then reach over the front knee. This will get a little hip flexor stretch, a little bit of the quad, and also kind of stretch out, the obliques and into the outside of the hip. So that's a nice one that I like to include for the hip flexor and quad area. Those are 3 quick ones. We could go for a long time doing some of those for sure.
Very cool. All right. Anyone have any ending questions before we hit the road? Well, I don't know if you guys are hitting the road to run, but all right.
All
awesome.
good.
Thank you guys so much for coming. I know it's been like a crazy past couple months, and your consistency, like Zach was saying, definitely shows and it pays off. So keep it up. And if you guys have any requests for the next time we do our runners workshop, let Zach and or I know. We'll make sure to apply it. We have these regularly every other week, the runners workshops. And I found that they say interesting. So why not keep them, right?
Well,
Cool.
I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us, guys.
All right, everyone. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good
Bye.
one.
Thank you, Zach.
Bye. Thank you.